In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys the basic pretzels. I'm going to go real deep into how to use these pretzels, how to integrate them into your breaking. If you already have the pretzel systems, this is probably not the video for you, but don't sweat. I have volume 2 that I'm just finishing editing and it will be out shortly. So welcome back again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm AJ47. If you've never met me before, subscribe if you are new and like the video if you like it. The likes on the video do really help out the channel. It helps promote this video to other people who might see it and might find it useful. And of course, if you appreciate my work that I do for the breaking community, there's ways that you can support the channel listed down below. This video is part of a class series I've been doing, really tailored for my younger students that actually teach in the real world, but super useful for absolutely anybody. If you learn all 3 of these videos, so one was on footwork, one was on the coffee grinders, and this one being on pretzels. If you learn all 3 of these videos and all of the material within it, you would have a respectable level at breaking. I guarantee and promise you that. And straight up, I know that you will have a guaranteed good level if you understand all 3 and you can apply all 3. So without further ado, it's a lengthy video as it is. Let's get straight into this tutorial. So pretzels are very similar to coffee grinders, which are these and then reverse coffee grinders. They're very similar movements. However, these are at the front of our footwork and on the feet, on the toes, on the balls of our feet. Pretzels, however, take place at the back position of our footwork, and one knee is usually always down. I'm now going to go to the back position, but I'm going to assume the side position to you guys so you can see a little bit more clearly. Here, and if I place one knee down, it now frees this hip to swing. We have 2 types of pretzels. An outward pretzel, which goes away from the body first, out, away from the body, and an inward pretzel, which goes in towards the body first. So first, an outward pretzel with my right leg, outward, back to position 3. Now I'm going to use the same leg to do an inward pretzel, which goes in towards the body first. Inward pretzel, okay? If I do this on the other side, that technically means I have 4 pretzels. Two are the same, but 4 if you count both sides. So same thing on the other side. I'll turn the other way for you. Same thing. Sweep this way, sweep that way. So outwards first, inwards second. Many people have difficulties with performing the pretzels because they keep their chest too low. So just as an example, same thing in our footwork. If our chest is too low, it's very hard to move your legs. So with a pretzel, if you notice, when I am about to swing this hip, like so, I place my left knee down to anchor myself. I'm going to swing around, but I'm going to keep my chest up. If I keep my chest down, it can't happen, okay? So I have to swing all the way to the front and change hands. So I get, this is my middle, and as you can see, I've gone past my middle. Now all I have to do is engage the foot at the back here to lift up and bring myself back into this low position here. If I wanted to go to the other side, I'd place this knee down, the opposite knee. I'd swing, lift up this hand, open my chest on this side, swing all the way around and come back to here. Totally recommend, if you don't have a soft floor, or if you're not practicing at home and your floor's hard, get yourself some knee pads. I've linked some in the description below if you would like to get some for yourself. With a little bit of practice, you can do this by dragging the foot along the floor, like so. Drag the foot along the floor, and if you notice, it's very similar to being in this knee position here. Scoot back a little bit, so this leg is extended. Once it gets past the halfway mark, right, you can change hands, which shouldn't compromise your flexibility levels. And then you can lift your hips up at the back by engaging the back of your foot to bring yourself back to here. Now you can practice doing this like so. See how my foot's scraping the floor? And it's just basically sliding on the floor. Same thing on the inside pretzel. This one goes through, this one comes down. This one goes through, comes down, okay? And you've got to practice this. Again, if you start getting stuck at the front, it's probably because you're leaning too far forward or you're not opening from the side enough. Just remember that when you're practicing these. You have to master them and get them good. You should really be able to do like 10 clean ones on one side. As we start to move on, the pretzel system is going to get a little bit more complex. So I really want to make sure that you guys have this comfortably on each side without the foot touching the floor, without scraping. That's a must before we move on. Otherwise, everything else is, you're just going to have ugly looking pretzels and you want them to look beautiful. If you notice, my feet are not scraping the floor, and that's kind of what you're aiming for. Quick little performance techniques. You can do the pretzels on your inner knuckles, or you can do them flat-handed. The choice is yours, really. However, doing them on the inner knuckles does give you an extra inch of height, and also because of the finger motion, it gives you a little bit more of a spring as opposed to flat-handed. However, flat-handed is super useful for transitioning to moves, freezes, and a bunch of other things. Second performance technique, especially when performing the inward pretzel. Many people, again, I believe due to a flexibility compromise, what they tend to do is shoot through from this position and slide. So this foot flexes over like this. I want you to stay on your toes. This is not wrong, and many people do it like this. In fact, I even believe Bboy Storm taught the inward pretzel like this. However, when you are transitioning to other moves, especially if you want to go up from the ground, it's much harder because now you're having to use your hand and only your hand to lift. Whereas if you do it with the toe flexed over like so, you can now go up with the toe and the hand. So it just makes your life a lot easier without much difference. It's not like the judges are looking and go up, he flexed over his toe, minus point. It's not gonna happen like that. Let's have a look at these basic pretzels from different angles. The next part is application of what we've just done. We're gonna use the 6-step for this. 1, 2, 3, and now you have the option to inward pretzel or outward pretzel. Now this is where we start getting into the drilling aspect. So the basic drill to integrate your pretzel would be to go, for example, I'm going counterclockwise in my footwork. My first drill would be using the inside pretzel, going to position 4 straight away. Now when I do it, I'm not gonna break the flow. See this? So now this is my new drill, okay? Once I've completed that drill, I will do the outside pretzel. Okay, same thing again, outside pretzel, still going my same way. And of course you need to draw the same 2 options on the opposite side. So it'll be 6-step, clockwise, right leg inward pretzel, back around, outwards, back around, and so on. Try and do 10 for each one on both sides. So the next drill that you're gonna learn is doing your footwork your normal direction, but pretzeling the opposite direction. 1, 2, 3. But instead of going through this way, I now want to go through this way, but continue counterclockwise, continue my normal 6-step way. So how am I gonna do that? I'm gonna go to this position, I'm gonna place this knee down, I'm gonna kick this leg. So it acts as a recoil, a rebound, a bounce, like this. 1, 2, 3, kick, through, like that. Now I get to here, this is where I need to transition, okay? So I have 2 options. I can bring this foot back here and step 4, 5, 6, like so, or I can kick, go around, step behind again, and continue back round this way, 4, 5, 6, okay? This one I prefer a little bit more because this one, the flow continues, okay? Boom, around, step behind, see that? Start going a little faster, boom, around, step behind. So with a little swivel of the hips, you can make it look really cool. The same little trick and technique can be applied if I'm going counterclockwise with my 6-step and I kick to swing outwards for an outside pretzel with my left leg. It looks like this. So I could go from here, 6-step, kick, change, place this knee down, swing out this way, step behind and through. See that? A little faster, kick, around, behind, okay? Kick, around, through, okay? Now, what I want you to do is learn that, get it 10 times in a row for each, and then swap sides, 10 times in a row on the opposite side. Let's have a look at that transition and the pendulum at the back. Now we've learnt this pendulum, or recoil in actual fact I should say, we're gonna now double up the pretzel. You can do that without the 6-step first, and it looks like this. Once you've got that recoil down where you can change sides with your pretzels, now it's about application once again. For this one, we're gonna use a 6-step. Of course, you can try with many other steps as well. 6-step your normal way, pretzel inward, recoil, pretzel inward, 4, 5, 6, around, pretzel, recoil, pretzel, other direction. Of those, and the same for every preceding drill afterwards. It's now time to do this with the outside pretzel. Now the next stage is to mix it up. So one inward, one outward. Inward, outward, inward, outward. Swap sides. Once you've got that comfortably on both sides, and you can alternate using the recoil to switch sides, it's time to pull it into your footwork. But again, for the sake of this tutorial, we're going to use the 6-step. Now you have the sweeps of the pretzel, it's time to do the setup. You've done the hardest part. Once you've got the sweeps, the setup is relatively easy. So from position 3, we're going to go to here. You're going to extend the leg like you're going to number 4 of your 6-step, and then you're going to retract the leg into a half position 0. My bum is now resting on my heel. I'm going to turn my hands, I'm going to roll over this toe, my right toe, ball of my foot, to this position like so. And I'm going to repeat on the other side. So it'll go extend, retract, change sides. And again, extend, retract, change sides, extend, retract, change sides. And that's the setup. As I'm sure you noticed during the setup, there's part of it where we turn 180 degrees. We do a half turn basically. That means that we can also set this up from the front position as well. If you're at the front and you're familiar with the hook position or the front sweep, what we're going to do is we're going to stop the front sweep and then turn in this direction, like we're going to do a Zulu spin, for example. We're going to turn over like that, set up for the other side, and pull it back in. So now you have the sweeps, you have the recoil, and you have the actual setup. This is the official now traditional pretzel system created by, or popularized at least, by Bboy Storm, by his Footwork Fundamentals DVD. Position 3. This time, when you're mastering it, just kick and pull it back in to make it faster, just like you would do with the recoil. Change hands, roll onto that foot, place the knee down like so, pretzel round like this, and as I'm going to bring this hand down, I'm going to twist my hips to repeat on the other side, like so, like this. So now I have my first pretzel system outwards. Pretzel. Look how beautiful that looks. And of course, once you've got this, you can mix it with your footwork. So if you wanted to start with 6-step, you go around, set up, around, and of course, you can exit whenever you feel like it. As I'm sure you're starting to realize at this point, the application for these moves are endless. So the drills that I give you are meant to be expanded, they're meant to be added on, they're even meant to be changed. Here are a few that you can use to integrate it with your footwork. Next is the inward version. So this one, you're going to go to position 3. You're going to kick, retract, change sides. And then from here, you have 2 options. You can either kick and then go through, or some people's preference, they like to extend and go through. Okay, so they like to elongate it. It's completely up to you and your preference. I like to kick. I find it gives me a little bit more whip, thus making me have to work a little bit less when I go through. However, I do like the extended version in the way it looks as well. Let's do that a little quicker. Same thing again, apply it in as many different ways as you can within your footwork. A touch is when you're going to tap at the back with the end of your pretzel, so it looked like this. Here. This now allows me to reset and come back through, of course again, or I can then change my pretzel in the same leg to another direction. So here, touch, outward, touch. Same thing on the other side, inward, outward. Have a play with that. Once you got it, do the double up version. Make that a drill. Swing. I'm going to go into the setup, across, inward, outward, touch, back to you guys. Inward, outward, touch, and again, inward, outward, touch. One more time for good measure. Inward, outward, touch. And then from here, I can either go straight into 6-step or my own preference, Zulu spin, back into 6-step. Just adds in a great little bit of dynamics. A little bit of, I'm looking at you, I'm not looking at you, if that makes sense. Let's just be clear, with this front setup, if I'm technically in this position, I've already performed the setup that I would normally perform here. It's the same position, right? So if I get to the front and I extend this leg and stop it here, right? Oops, I'm gonna move back a little bit. All I have to do is now swing for an outward or an inward pretzel with this leg, like so. See what I'm saying? I can switch sides. Tap, tap, other side, tap, tap. Once you've got the Pretzel Touch system down, feel free to start jazzing things up a little bit. So for example, if I were just to do the same thing with the setup, come through, and with the touch, I can now Zulu spin and come back around into my footwork, change directions, go this way, go through, around, touch, Zulu spin, come through. And this marks the end of volume 1. I can't wait for you guys to check out volume 2. So stay tuned by hitting the bell icon so you get notified each time I upload a new video. If you enjoy the work that I'm doing for the breaking community, there's ways that you can support the channel listed down below. Alternatively, just like the video. It really helps the YouTube algorithm know that this is the video that people interested in breaking should be watching. Nice one guys, much love, stay fresh, stay clean, and I'm gonna chat to you again real soon. Peace.